Hi everyone and welcome back to Chess for Charity. In this video, I'm going to show you a ridiculous chess problem. One that you've probably never seen before, and it's just nuts. So in this position, it is white to move and mate in 36 moves, and it's forced. That's just crazy. I would ask to see if you want to figure it out. I would ask instead to see how far can you figure out. Can you see 5 moves down the road? Maybe 10? Maybe 15? Since it's forced, maybe it'll be easier. Try to challenge yourself in this and see how far you can calculate out. I really think that would be a good challenge because you realize that as you go deeper and deeper in calculations, maybe 8, 10, 12, 15 moves, things start to become a little fuzzy. So it's all about strengthening that skill. It may seem like a silly puzzle here, but it will help you in your real games. So I'd recommend giving that a shot. Before I show the solution, I would also recommend that you subscribe to the channel. Half of the income that I earn goes directly to charity, so I want to grow this channel as much as possible and help the world, so every single subscriber helps out a lot. Okay, let's get into this puzzle. So we have this cool little house structure that I wanted to point out first. And you might say, what in the world is happening here? How am I going to mate black, who's trying to invade this house, in 36 moves? Well, let's just talk about the most obvious forcing check to start, which is queen g5. If you go queen h4, you actually lose in 4 moves because they just take it. So you have to be kind of delicate here. There are no other sensible moves here. So let's see what we got. So after queen g5 check, you'll realize that the king kind of gets run around, I should say. So if they go in the corner, they get mated in 1. So they kind of are forced to run around. So now you play queen to g3 check. Again, you're giving this king very few options. In this case, only 1 option. And you just run them around. If they go to f1, they get mated, so they have to go to d1. And just follow the king here. You're checking them, and look at the way that they started. I think, where did they start? They start on g5, g4. So they went like this. They're running around. c3 check. King a4. Queen a3 check. King b5. Check. Run away. Check. Run away. Now you have the opportunity here to take material if you want, but if you do that, it's not that good of an idea because, well, you're opening yourself up to check. So let's just say, for example, just to take a quick tangent, if I do this, bishop takes f2 is mate in 7, according to the engine. So just reading it, you know it's bad, but bishop e3, and what do you do here? Rook takes f4 is what the computer is saying. Or no, rook f4 check. Oh, what a nice check. Look at that move. They can't take it because it's pinned. Look at the beauty of that. King d3, and what do? Queen b3 check. All the pieces are coming into action, and you are going to lose. I don't have to show the whole variation. I can if you want, but I think you'll get the idea here that it's just too much. Look at, even the knight gets involved. Knight f3 check. Beautiful stuff. Queen takes b2, holding everything together. The only move you have is to block. I take it, and then the last thing you can do is put the bishop in front. Super nice variation, just to show that you kind of have to keep running the king around. You can't pause for a moment and take material. Okay, queen c7 check. The king runs. Queen to e7 check. So c7 check, e7 check. Now, remember where you started this puzzle. You started by checking them here, if I remember correctly, right? Queen g5 check was the initial position. Now you take this knight. So now you're kind of freeing up this e file a bit more. So now we're in the same position we were to start, but now there's no knight on e5. So now let's go around this circle again. Check, check, check. I'm going a little faster here because it's the same sequence of moves. And again, if they don't, I can show the other variation really quickly. Just as a side, like if they go to this square, you still have mate. That kind of stuff still applies, of course. Check, 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 check. Now we have to ask ourselves, in the last position, we took this knight, right? I think we took it on F or on E5. So we have to ask ourselves, do we go back to this and repeat, or do we do something else? No, we don't want to repeat. Why would we do that? Instead, we look for the other check. Well, now that this square is no longer, what should I say, occupied, E4 is now visible, in quotes, visible to the queen. So now I play queen E4 check. And now things change slightly. Queen plays E4 check, the king goes to G4. Okay, now you can take that pawn with check. And this bishop, by the way, is just holding all these pawns together. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that in the beginning about the house structure. Okay, the king goes back. Now, you run back around the house the other way. Check. Check. And again, note that if the king goes this direction, that's checkmate in 1. So just keep that in mind. I trust that you can see mate in 1, but I want to make sure that I'm comprehensive here. D7, E7 check. King C6. We're going the opposite direction. Queen C7 check. We're running around the house the other way. Now, I want to stop at this next moment right here. This position is one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video, which, by the way, I should say, this was suggested to me on Discord. So big shout out to the person on Discord who suggested this. This position itself is like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle within a puzzle. So we were running around on all these dark squares earlier, so you might be tempted to play queen c3 on this square, queen c3 check. You might be tempted to do that, and that's not right, and I want to show why. And I really hope you'll just let me go through this for a moment. It's amazing. So stick around for a second. If I play queen c3 check, what's crazy here is black actually wins the game, because they run to d1. You keep checking them like you would before, but now they have this nice square G2. And if you try to do something like check them, in this case on E4, they can interpose with check. This is a cross check here. So what do? They have to move around, and then look what happens. It's just all the pieces start coming in. This move is a brilliant move because this pins the knight. Or sorry, pins the queen so we can't capture the knight. And then this is just a computer line just to show the point. I like this variation a lot. You let the queen take my queen, and I don't even let you take, I don't even take it back. I just mate you. So just the point here is that you got to be careful. You can't play queen c3 check. You have to instead play queen d3 check. So go through that variation if you're interested. I think it's worth looking into because, like I said, you can go through this, and in this position, you can ask yourself, what if they play somewhere else? Like, what if they play here? What happens here? King h1, and I'm safe. Can you believe that? Can you believe the fact that this king is safe on h1? What do? It's amazing. They have no good move. If you take, obviously this is a bad move, queen f3, you just take it. But the computer, by the way, in case you're wondering, is saying f5 is the best move. But then queen d5 check, and you can already see the writing on the wall here. This is going to be over. White is losing. It's just a crazy variation. I hope that you see that. So instead, you don't go to c3. Instead, you play the better move, queen d3. Check. Okay. The king has to run away. So now, what do you do here? You want to give check, but where do you move this bishop? Do you go to e3? Or c3, or c1, or e1? Bishop c3 wins. If you go to any other square, like bishop c1, you just take that as the king, right? Not too bad. So bishop c1 is bad, bishop c3 is good. Bishop c3 is played, the king moves, and just a simple mate from here on out. The queen plays to d2. After king b1, nice checkmate here. Kind of blocking out all these squares, and this bishop is protecting this b-pawn. So that's it. That's mate in 36. I think just for the sake of seeing it in quicker motion, I think you should just watch it one more time because it is such a cool mate. Look at the way the king is running around the board. Check, 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 check. We're going around the board, running around the house. You take the knight. That helps you free up squares on the e-file. And now I'm allowed access to e4. I make use of it. I check. The bishop's holding things down. I move in the opposite direction now. Now I'm going the other way. And I have to be careful in this moment. Don't play queen c3. Instead, play queen d3 and then finish it out with a pretty simple checkmate from here. Isn't that amazing? Again, big shout out to the person on Discord who suggested this. Their name is in the description, so if you want to shout them out too, I appreciate that. All the feedback from the community is absolutely amazing, so thank you all so much. I'm incredibly grateful for all the subscribers that I have so far, so let's keep it up and let's keep helping out charity. But thank you so much. Bye.